Luke. I recognize that many of you are kind of, tired. The time and circumstances, conditions, situations take its toll and so forth. But when you come to the house of the Lord, no matter what our level of energy may be, if it's no more than 10%, you ought to reach back and give him the best you have. Yeah. So I got my percentage is not 100, but even though my percentage is not 100, I'm going to give 100% effort to because we never know when it's the deciding moment, and we don't want to miss that. So, with that said, let me get into this message, 8th chapter of Luke, 22nd verse, but we're also going to allude to more version of the same situation. Let us stand for the reading of the word. 8th chapter of Luke, and verse number 22. Let's read together. Now it came to pass on a certain day that he went into a boat with his disciples. And he said unto them, let us go over to the other side. And they launched forth. Thank you for your obedience. You may be seated. You may be seated. And to advance this idea, this thought, he went to sleep and the storm came and the disciples approached him and woke him up, and you care whether we perish and so forth. So that's the situation here. The emblem of the church. This, I want to speak to us about Jesus is always with his church. Jesus is with his church. Yes. There ain't a storm, but Jesus is there with them. The emblem of the church. An emblem is a symbolic object that represents a particular quality or concept. America's national symbol is the bald eagle, representing strength and courage. The olive branch is an emblem of peace. And so we see here a situation that we can safely refer to as an emblem of the church. For we see, first of all, the condition of the church. The church is in a storm. Many would agree with me when I say that these days, these times, we are living in stormy situations. Storms in the home, storms in the school, storms on the political front, storms on the national and international front. We are in storms. Storm in our personal life. There are some things, storms that are taking place in our personal life that we just can't share and don't want to share with others. Not because they don't care, but because we don't want to burden others. We recognize that they have their own storms. And we would try to handle and deal with our storms ourselves with God's help. And so then we don't want folks worried about us and loved ones and friends worried about us when they're going through much themselves. So we are in stormy situation. And if you don't think that we're in stormy situation, just watch the news. Read the newspaper. Observe what is taking place in your community. Look in your home. Look in the home of your family members. Conflict. Enter and intra-conflict. Conflict with strangers. Conflict with friends. Conflict everywhere. We are in a stormy situation. Even right now, the White House and the president are in a storm. And so we are in a storm. We see the condition of the church. The church is in a storm. There is no flower beds of ease, folks. There is no moment when Satan says, you know what, I'm going to cease my activities. I'm going to cut back on my effort. I'm going to just give in because the church is a mighty force. The church serves a God who has all power. So I'm just going to leave the church alone. I'm going to leave the Christian alone. Satan is never at that point. I don't care how much you pray. I don't care how much you serve. I don't care how much tithe you pay. Whatever the situation is, you need to know Satan will never leave you alone. He's in the business of vexing the people of God. He can't take your salvation, but he want to rob you of the joy of that salvation. He don't want you to have the peace of God that passes all understanding. He don't want you to have that conviction in your heart that God is fighting my battle. All I got to do is hold my peace, and that he is a comforter to those who are in bereavement, those who are hurting, and those who are suffering. He's a very present help in the time of need. He don't want you leaning on that. He don't want you leaning and dependent on God. He don't want you holding your peace. He don't want you to trust in him with all of your heart and lean not to your own understanding. He don't want you to live under the conviction that God would order your steps and will order your ways. And God is making all things work for your good. He don't want you to live by faith. He don't want you to trust him. He always wants you to make your decision, draw your conclusion based on circumstances, on your surroundings, how things look. But I told you the other day that we don't live by explanation. We don't understand everything. We don't live by explanation, but we live by promise. Lord, I'm with you always. But look how hard it is. I'm with you always. And everybody else seems to be getting a break. I can't get a break. Look like when I make one step forward, I make two backward. I just say, he said, I'm always with you. I'm working all things out. Nothing can separate you from my love. I want you to know that my grace is sufficient to hold you and keep you. There's going to be a change. The change going to come. Weeping going to be in the night, but joy going to come in the morning. You're going to get your joy in the morning, but until the morning comes, I'm going to give you grace to deal with your hurt. Give you grace to deal with your disappointment. Give you grace to deal with your bereavement, to deal with your sorrow. I'm going to give you grace. I wish y'all wasn't waiting for the saints to come on tonight. And somebody would help me out a little bit. He wants you to rejoice. Rejoice. Stop getting down on what somebody said about you, what somebody did you, and how you wasn't treated fairly, and you getting a raw deal. Get away from that. That's Satan. That is not God. God is in control, always in control. God can turn your midnights into days. He can pick you up. I know you don't have to believe me, but ask Brother Joseph. Joseph can tell you you can be in the pit, in the bottom of the pit, but God can take you out of the pit and bring you to the palace. You don't believe that? Ask Moses. God can put you in the Nile River and bulrushes and preserve you and manipulate situation so that Pharaoh's daughter would take you and bring you to a Hebrew woman who incidentally is your mother. You still know how to do it. Y'all don't believe that? Ask Jesus. God can take you off of the cross and let you put you in a tomb, and then 3 days later God can take you out of the tomb. My God can do anything. And so then we see the condition of the church. The church is in the storm, but we also see the need of the church. The church needs help from beyond itself. The storm is raging, the boat is rocking from side to side. And they are familiar with the waters. They are seamen. But the situation here is beyond their ability to control. And so the church needs help. And we need help. Am I helping somebody? We got well-educated people, the church not, but the church needs help. We pick up good money. I'm not talking about this church individually, but I'm talking about the Christian church that do well in picking up and taking in money, but the church needs help. The church got fabulous building and got air for the heat and got heat for the cold, but the church needs help. help. Our children are going astray. We need help. Families are falling apart. The church needs help. Teachers need help in the classroom. Used to be a time when the teacher spanked the children, but now the children are smacking the teachers. We need help. But I come to encourage your heart today that there is help. And somebody said, thank you, Rev. Help is on the way. No, help is already here. Help is not on the way. Help is already here. And the help you need is in you. The Holy Spirit of God is in you. And he can do what no other power can do. The Holy Spirit can lift your way of thinking and lift your feeling and lift your motivation. The Holy Spirit can move in your heart and give you hope when there seems to be no hope. You don't have to give up. You don't have to throw the towel in, but you can just lean and depend on him who is able to turn your midnight into day. He is able to prepare a table for you right in the presence of those who oppose you. God is able to part your Red Seas. He is able to bring you out of the lion's den. He is able to help you in the fiery furnace. God is able to do for you whatever you need done. You're not by yourself. You need to understand that there is hope. And this hope is in Christ Jesus. You say, but Reverend, I see the lightning flashing and I hear the thunder rolling. But if you just be quiet a little bit, that's not all you'll see. That's not all you'll hear. You'll hear someone telling you, lo, I'm with you even until the end of the world. Seek first the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness, and all of these things going to be added unto you. He said, if you do that, he said, if you do that, he said, you'll be all right. So then we see the needs of the church. The church needs help from beyond itself. We also see the fears of the church. We lack faith in the power of the gospel. That's why we feel we got to do other stuff. That's why we feel we got to get other stuff, and we got to bring part of the world into the church. We got to base our ministry on the systems of the world. No, you don't have to do that. Let me tell you, the gospel is still a power of God unto salvation. The gospel still saves. The gospel still delivers. The gospel still enlightens. The gospel still comforts those who are in sorrow. The gospel is still giving strength to those who are weak. The gospel is bringing peace out of confusion. The gospel has the power to hold a troubled marriage together until things get better. The gospel is able to do that. The gospel is able to give you a better perspective on life. The gospel is able to convince you that it's not what you live in that matters, it's what's living in you. And if Christ lives in you, it's the value of Christ, and the value system of Christ becomes your system. Let me tell you, you can be happy, you can be content, you can be satisfied, even though everything around you may not be exactly like you would have it to be. But you learn to be contented. Am I helping somebody? You be more concerned. You don't be concerned about what kind of bed I lay in. You be concerned about how much rest I can get. You don't got these special kind of mattress that you buy. You pay $5,000, you get a good night's sleep. Let me tell you, you see if you got a troubled heart, and you see if Christ is not in control of your life, and if you know how to handle your problem, you can buy a $20,000 mattress, and you might sleep, but you won't get no rest. But with Christ, you don't hear what I'm saying. With Christ, you can pull off on the side of the road and get rest in your car. You don't hear what I'm saying. Yes, we see the perpetual presence and care of Christ. Christ is with the church. The church is in the storm, but Christ is there in the storm with the church. And our church must recognize, we must recognize Christ hasn't abandoned us. I know you might be what you're going through, but Christ haven't abandoned you. Loved one may have abandoned you. Friends may have abandoned you. That may be people who have walked out of your life. But one thing you can know for sure, that God will never abandon his people. Jeremiah said he loves us with an everlasting love. He's always present. You may think that he's not near you. You may think that he does not hear you. But Christ is present. He knows everything that is going on in your life. He knows every trial that you face. He knows every temptation that you're trying to resist. Do y'all hear me? He knows everything that's going on. Stop getting all upset and uptight over folks and over situations and over conditions. Stop losing your equilibrium. Stop getting panicked and stop getting restless and stop getting fearful. He knows what you are. He knows what you're going through. He sees your tears. He sees the sorrow that is in your heart. He knows your aches and your pain. He knows all about it. And he's trying to tell you, I'm a very present help in the times of need. I'm there. I'm always with you. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. And when the going gets tough, I get a going. I will never fail you yet. I will never fail. And I want y'all to rejoice today. I want you to pick up your spirit. You see, for so long, some of you have been waiting for somebody else to pick up your spirit. You've been waiting for me to preach a sermon to pick you up and waiting for somebody to sing a song to pick you up. You got to learn how to pick yourself up. I mean, I preach a sermon to pick you up, and somebody may not be able to sing a song. The musician may not be able to hit a note to pick you up, but you can pick yourself up. I'm a child of God. I'm a soldier of the cross. I'm blessed with all spiritual blessings. I've been made to sit in heavenly places. I'm more than a conqueror. Christ is fighting my battle. I'm a child of the King. I am a soldier of the cross. I am a citizen of heaven. I am in the family of God. I am somebody. Stop sounding up and pouting at people and cutting your eyes at folks. Stand up and know who you are. When you were in the wilderness, he brought you out. When you were down, he picked you up. When you were out, he brought you in. When you were in some bad stuff, he took you out. Know who you are in Jesus Christ. Don't count on the Saints make a touchdown to make you happy. They may or may not make a touchdown. And I've noticed in our father, I looked at the game with the Cowboys not too long ago. They got a good defense. The Saints may not even make a touchdown. If that's what you are depending on to make you happy, the touchdown may not come. The least you might get is a field goal. But if you trust him, let me tell you, you come out with more than a field goal. You come out with a touchdown. Every time, trouble comes in your life and you begin to move to make a touchdown. Every time sorrow comes, I can make a touchdown. Because with him, every moment is touchdown moment. Every day is touchdown day. Every year is touchdown year. Every situation is touchdown situation. Somebody ought to help me and know what I'm talking about here. The reason why I'm shouting now, because I made a touchdown on yesterday. I made a touchdown on last night. I got up this morning and made another touchdown. I'm making a touchdown now, and if I keep on living, I'm going to make a touchdown this evening too. And I'm not looking. I got to wonder and hope that the Saints win. I'm not picking on the Saints, but let me tell you, I've already won. I've already won the game of life. I've already won against Satan. I've already won against temptation. I've already won against sorrow. I've already won against sickness. I've won. I just take the medicine, but I've already won. This house of the tabernacle is the building of thank God I got a building not made with hands. I've already won. You ought to praise him, from whom all blessing flows. The disciples awakened Jesus, and according to Mark 4:38, they asked him the question, carest thou not that we perish? We see here in the disciples' question, we see the language of doubt. Do you care whether they doubt it, that he cared? We see also the language of forgetfulness. They forgot when they were hungry in the desert, how he provided for their hunger. They forgot how he gave the widow of Nain her son back from the dead. They forgot how he had brought them into a realization that God was their father and God would provide. Forgetfulness. And don't, before you get down on them, think about yourself. How soon you'll forget. Now some things that bothering you now, you letting control your emotion and your feeling. Why? Because you forgot when you were facing trouble a few weeks ago and you were in a predicament, how God brought you out. You forgot how trap was set for you, but yet God called you to circumvent.
You've been watching services from the First Community Antioch Baptist Church in Lutcher, Louisiana, under the leadership of Pastor Ferdinand Gaines Jr. Join us for worship each Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 10860 Highway 3125, Lutcher, Louisiana, or call us at 225-869-4586. On behalf of Pastor Gaines and all the members, we thank you for watching.